मुझे नहीं लगता कि वो खुशी से गई है क्या है उसे प्रेशर किया.
They're quickly married off to Muslim men, and ties to their families are cut. RFERL questions the clerics behind the conversions that human rights groups say are often coerced.
लेकिन ये सरासर झूठ है, फरेब है, धोखा है और इसके अलावा कोई हकीकत नहीं है.
And we look at why Pakistani lawmakers haven't protected minors and ensured that religious conversions are not forced.
There's no clarity. It shouldn't be an informal group of clerics, for instance, doing this. It should be the state doing this. The Dargah Barchundi Sharif Religious Seminary in Pakistan's Sindh province is one of three major hubs for converting religious minorities to Islam. It was here that a Hindu girl, Simran Kumari, was found after disappearing from her aunt's house on August 17th, 2020.
थाने पे पहुंचा भी नहीं हूँ कि उसकी कॉल आई है कि आपकी लड़की हमारे यहाँ है. वो कहती है कि मैं इस्लाम कबूल करना चाहती हूँ.
Simran's brother, Sunny Kumar, is still trying to make sense of it all. He believes his sister, who he says suffers from psychological problems and impaired vision, was abducted and forced to convert. He says she was just 17 years old. Simran's family took this video when they were permitted to see her, but they could not meet her privately, and she was guarded by seminary officials.
हम उसको समझाएंगे हमारे साथ रहकर तो देखे. वो उधर हम गए थे, वो फुल प्रेशर में थी, डर रही थी. अभी आप उसकी वीडियो देखें, वो लोग उसको इशारे दे रहे थे.
When the family returned home, they received a video message. Simran had a new Islamic name, Aisha, and a Muslim husband.
देखो ना, हमें जो हम वापसी आ गए थे, फिर 1-2 घंटों के बाद उन्होंने वीडियो शो कर दी कि ये मुसलमान हो गई है, इसका निकाह भी हो गया है 2 घंटों में.
अपने वर्षा के लिए, अपने पिछड़ों के लिए आप क्या पैगाम देना चाहती हैं?
मैं उन्हें ये कहना चाहती हूँ मुझे तंग ना करें. मैं इनके साथ खुश रहना चाहती हूँ. मुझे खुश रहने दें.
The next morning, a judge issued a court order protecting Simran from her Hindu family, legally blocking them from getting her back. Police refused to investigate the case. Only 10 days earlier, there was laughter as Simran gave her brothers customary friendship bracelets, or rakis. But within a day, she was gone. The family was powerless.
बस ऐसे समझो ज़मीन फट जाए, हम उधर चले जाएं. आप यकीन नहीं करोगे, बस हम जहर लेने पे तुले थे.
The dizzying speed of Simran's disappearance, conversion, and marriage follows a disturbing pattern, according to Pakistani human rights groups. Reports estimate as many as 1,000 girls and young women are forcibly converted each year, mostly from the country's Hindu minority.
They tend to be from very lower economic backgrounds. In most cases, they don't have the resources or the means to sort of fight back or to resist these attempts on their women, on their daughters, on their children.
Of Pakistan's 220 million people, Hindus account for about 2% of the population, or 4.5 million, according to government figures. Hindu community leaders say the number is more like 8 million. Most live in Sindh province, once known as the country's religious melting pot. Simran's family home is in the city of Mirpur Matelo, in Sindh's northern Gotki district. After accepting Islam at the Dargah Barchundi Sharif Seminary in nearby Derki, fresh converts are often taken to neighboring Punjab province, where the legal age for marriage is 16 years old instead of 18 in Sindh.
देखें, इस्लाम कबूल करने वाले अल्लाह तबारक व तआला हिदायत देने वाला है.
Mian Muhammad Javed was the cleric behind Simran's conversion. He says she was 21 years old and denies she was pressured. He claims to have personally converted more than 100 people to Islam since 2015 and rejects any allegation his converts were threatened or abducted.
लेकिन ये सरासर झूठ है, फरेब है, धोखा है और इसके अलावा कोई हकीकत नहीं है। अगर इस तरह का कोई मामला होता तो वो कम से कम प्रूफ तो करते। तो मैं तो चैलेंज कर रहा हूँ।
One desperate Hindu father did wage a high-profile legal battle. Hari Lal alleged his 2 teenage daughters were kidnapped in March 2019 and forcibly converted. Authorities eventually agreed to investigate after he threatened to kill himself outside a police station, and the video went viral.
चली गई, उससे वो हथियार दिखाया, वो तो उधर बैठ गई और क्या कर सके।
The sisters were married to Muslim men who allegedly claimed the girls were 18 and 19 years old. Ravina, who now goes by the Muslim name Asya, lives with her husband Safdar Ali and his first wife.
अब हम लोगों को तकलीफ तो कुछ भी नहीं है, हम लोग ऐसे रहते हैं बहनों की तरह। बस वहाँ पर आते थे ना, वहाँ पर आते थे हम लोग मिले तो वहाँ पर राब्ता हुआ था, फ़ोन नंबर लिया था, फिर बात करते थे। फिर मैंने बोला मैं मुसलमान होना चाहती है। अच्छा ठीक है, तुम आओ, मैं आपको मुसलमान करूँ।
She says there were tensions at home with her parents and that she and her sister were drawn to the social and economic status that comes from joining the Muslim majority.
बस देखते थे वहाँ पर बहुत सारे मुसलमान बैठे हुए थे ना, वहाँ पर आते जाते थे, वहाँ से ख्वाहिश थी हम लोग मुसलमान होंगे।
In a case that made headlines across Pakistan, the Islamabad High Court ruled the 2 sisters were not forcibly converted and permitted them to live with their spouses. The judgment was hailed as a victory for Abdul Haq, who is known as Mia Mitta. The 82-year-old cleric wields political influence across northern Sindh province and runs the Dargah Barchundi Sharif Seminary at the heart of the controversial conversions.
अगर सरवर कायनात हज़रत पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम कहते हैं कि ज़बरदस्त नहीं करना, तो हम कौन होते हैं? वो लोग इसीलिए कहते हैं कि वो लेते हैं कहीं से वो पैसे।
He provided no proof of that. Mia Mehta denies conversions are forced, but defended financing legal actions to prevent parents from contacting their newly converted children.
जो मुसलमान होता है हम उसको तहफ़्फ़ुज़ देते हैं, रोज़गार का बंदोबस्त करते हैं, उसको रहाइश का बंदोबस्त करते हैं। अगर लड़का है तो उसके शादियां कराते हैं, अगर लड़की है तो उसको भी मतलब खावंद देते हैं।
And no matter what the circumstances of a conversion, there is no going back.
नहीं सवाल ही पैसे, मुसलमान हो गई ना, तलक टूट गया।
The costly court battle to get his daughters back exhausted Hari Lal's modest savings. He and his wife were left heartbroken.
हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते और रोते हैं, बस और क्या करते हैं, माँ रोती है, मैं रोता हूँ, रीना और रोहिना को बहुत याद करते हैं हम।
Ravina and Reena's case, however, did prompt an investigation by the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan. In a 30-page report, it made several recommendations. It called for better birth records in rural areas, making the legal age 18 for religious conversions, and taking the process out of the hands of Muslim clerics.
It should be the provincial government authorizing the conversion. That process needs to be regulated, and whenever there is a hint of coercion, when there is this hint of force, then those matters need to be criminalized.
Lal Chand Mali is a Hindu member of Pakistan's parliament. He's on a government commission that is looking into the issue of forced conversions.
I'm insisting on 2 things. One, defining forced conversions. Number 2, law on conversions.
But clerics have blocked several earlier legislative attempts to put age limits on conversions.
लेकिन जो मुल्क इस्लाम के नाम पे आज़ाद करवाया गया, उस मुल्क के अंदर इस तरह के कानून नहीं चलेंगे, क्योंकि उन्होंने कोशिश करके देखी। उन्होंने यक राय से सब लोगों ने ये नहीं सोचा कि हम अपना ईमान खराब कर रहे हैं।
Some Pakistani Hindus, however, say they have good reason to leave their faith. They convert to escape discrimination and the poverty that the vast majority of Hindus in Sindh province live in. Ajay Kumar became Muslim. in exchange for a job at a fertilizer company.
कभी ऐसा कोई मुश्किल वक्त भी आ जाता है जब मेरी पहली डिलीवरी हुई थी तो मेरे पास पैसा नहीं था.
Many Pakistani Hindus are born into a life of bonded labor. They inherit their parents' debts and are destined to work for landlords. But some Muslim clerics offer them a way out.
तुम कन्वर्ट हो जाओ, तुम्हारा कर्जा माफ.
Krishan Sharma is a Hindu member of parliament for Pakistan's ruling Tehreek-e-Insaf party. He says the Hindu caste system also leads to discrimination, leaving lower-class Hindus struggling to find employment and spouses.
लेकिन जो विद इन हिंदू कम्युनिटी में जो कास्ट सिस्टम है, इंटरकास्ट मैरिजेस नहीं होती. नतीजे में हमारे पास चॉइसेस कम हो जाती हैं अपने बच्चों के रिश्तों के लिए.
Others convert to escape bad marriages, like 35-year-old Sijal. She left her Hindu husband and 3 daughters to become Muslim, changing her name to Aliza.
मुझे पता था वहाँ से लड़कियाँ गई थी ना, मैंने नेट पे देखा, अखबारों में देखा ये बाबा मदद करेंगे, इसलिए मैं अपने बाबा के पास आ गई.
Until Pakistan regulates the process, however, religious conversions will continue to raise suspicions of coercion. Harry Lal and his wife have given up on trying to be reunited with Reena and Ravina and worry about the safety of their 3rd daughter.
फिर आ जाएं बंदूकें रख के उठा के ले जाएं, हम क्या करेंगे? हम तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते ना. तो
Sunny Kumar believes his sister Simran is too afraid to leave her husband or testify that she was forcibly converted and married. She's now reportedly pregnant. Kumar went to court to get his sister back to the family home, but that case was dismissed. He says his sister warned him that he could be killed if he continued with his fight and that she urged him to leave Pakistan. But Kumar is staying put, determined to carry on with his legal battle.
लड़की हमको दें, हम लड़की को समझाएं, 1 हफ्ता लड़की हमारे पास दें, हम लड़की से पूछें अगर वो इस्लाम कबूल करना चाहती है तो बेशक करे, उसमें हमें फोर्स नहीं है, ठीक है, लेकिन ये शादी गैर कानूनी है.
In 2020, the U.S. State Department declared Pakistan a country of particular concern for violations of religious freedoms. It was an accusation rejected by the Pakistani government. But Hindu, Sikh, and Christian minorities remain vulnerable, especially girls and young women from those communities. More families will be torn apart, say rights groups, unless they're given protection and power to take on a legal system that favors the Muslim majority and the clerics conducting the conversions.